Philly, what up? All right, what's up, people? I'm the talented Mr. Taco. I got Ricky on here for a quick Hawks and Sixers recap, and we had to bring the heat because they had fire tonight. Woo! Ricky, was that not a game that you wanted to see? I know you thought the Hawks were going to win. I was going Sixers. We had a lot of smack talk going in here. What did you feel and feed off of this game? Because I'm not going to lie, man. Simmons took 3 shots in this game, but I loved it because he was on Trae Young early. But I got some thoughts. I want to hear what you got to think about this game first.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. The Hawks, they didn't shoot particularly well. Trae didn't have a great game. Bogdanovic, he heated up in the second half, but in the first half he did crap. Mm-hmm. They fought back. I thought they did well fighting back. I think anytime Embiid stepped off the court, that's when the Hawks made their run. Mm-hmm. I personally always liked the bench better than Philly, but Philly's bench showed up in the second half. Mm-hmm. And again, to me, the biggest thing is, if Simmons plays defense like that on Trae Young, it's going to be a problem because it's everything the Knicks should have done is, hey, don't let him drive, see him early, get him early. Simmons was up on him early. Mm-hmm. So again, it's everything the Knicks should have done. But
it's almost like a very similar game plan to what the Nets are doing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. They're putting the guys sagging down a little bit off him, making them more of a jump shooter rather than letting them get to the hole, drive, in either create for someone else or create for themselves. Because when you look at the efficiency of it, he's shooting so much better from inside the 3-point range than he is from outside the 3-point range. So if you can force him to be a long distance shooter, the odds say that you're going to put yourself in a better position to win. And if we look at it, like 2 of the top players that they have on their team, Bogdan Bogdanovic and Trae Young, both went 6 of 16.
Right.
Dino Gallinari went 7 of 15. He did hit 5 of 9 from 3, so that's sniper. But those are your 3 top guys. They're your 3 top scorers. Herder got 20. He went off. He went 8 of 10. But
he played well. Who really has to play better is Collins to me. He was a big difference maker in the Knicks series. I think if you can't have what he did today, he has to play better.
But he only shot 4 of 11. So I mean, I think it also comes down to Trae and Bogdan. They can't go 6 for 16.
But I think that was the defense. And again, one thing that surprised me is the Hawks defense is good. They're underrated. Mm-hmm. They're really good. They showed in the Knicks. Yes, the Knicks are offensively challenged, so I get that. Mm-hmm. But the Hawks, I believe, are better than letting Philly score 120 points.
Well, you know what I also think it is too. I think that ever since they got the coach, Nate McMillan, he's really instilled this defensive mentality to it. And like we had mentioned earlier, defense is really not so much about skills sometimes, but it's about will, it's about heart, it's about hustle, and it's about head. And when I say head, I mean your brain. You got to engage your brain. You got to understand, hey, I have this guy baseline. Let me use the baseline as an extra defender. Let me force him this way. He likes to go left. So let me force him to go right. You have to understand the tendencies of these players in order to, take advantage of some of these situations. The number one thing that I really loved about this game, though, is that they included Tobias Harris as a mainstay in this game plan. And I felt like that was one of the big things that they really, lacked on. And one person that I had spoken to, or not spoken to, but on Twitter, I was going back and forth with Monica McNulty. I don't know if you know who she is, but she's the girl from the Knicks. She does the after game. She's starting to show up on ESPN.
Yes.
And we were and like what I had mentioned was I was saying that why don't you have Simmons on Trae Young? And what they were saying is like, well, the way Trae Young is able to snake around and draw those fouls on people, that you don't really want to put Simmons in that matchup because you're going to lose him.
Right.
And my whole thought process was this, like, okay, maybe you might lose Simmons on the offensive end, but defensively, if you shut down Trae Young, this whole Hawks team is not going to move. And I have guys like Embiid, like Harris, who come out and ball and score. And if we see the box score again, look at what these guys did. 11 of 19, 13 of 25. Embiid got 12 of 16 from the free throw line. He was getting to the free throw line. He was getting his free throws in. He scored 40 points. Let these guys carry you.
I think another big thing with Philly, and it's been, even down the stretch of the season, was Curry hitting shots. I think Curry today did another
Curry
great
was
job
one of the highest 3-point shooters in the whole league this
in
season.
the whole league. So again, Curry is showing up. Showed up at this game. If they get that production from Curry, it's going to be pretty hard to for the Hawks defense, I guess, to stop Philly. But again, I do believe they're better than what they did defensively. They have long arms, so they're out there. The Hawks defense is out there. Again, I think today, if you look, you say you can't have Trey play like that. You can't have Bogdanovich play like that. And like you said, Gallinari, listen, he hit his threes, but again, you need more from those three guys.
Yep. And I just love that. The cool thing about Twitter is at 11:07 a.m. yesterday, I was literally saying this, and I'm arguing with, Monica is a very knowledgeable basketball woman.
Of course.
She is awesome. So this is no disrespect in any way to anyone that was on it, because, this is a basketball conversation, just trying to, think about what strategically speaking you could do in order to slow a guy down like this and actually facilitate a win for your team. And Thibault was really good, and that's what everyone was saying. Start Thibault, put him on him. Go with that move. But at the end of the day, in my opinion, if you have a guy like Ben Simmons, who's supposed to be the defensive player of the year, who wants to be the greatest defender in the game, that's talking all this, well, step up and show up and do what you got to do and shut down Trae Young. And he did, to his credit, especially early on when Philly made that run, which psychologically was good for the crowd and good for the team, because it got them on a good pace, so that when the Hawks came back, they're like, okay, now we can keep fighting you off because we had this lead. We saw that we could do it. We can get this done.
To me, the biggest thing is that just defensively, again, you don't see those floaters anymore. You're not seeing these floaters over the players, how he was doing with the Knicks. Because when the Knicks, even when they try to move him left or they were too late when he was already deep. And yes, he might have been from the left and not maybe his best side or whatever it may be. But if he's close enough, all he has to do is what he was doing. The floater over the guy and it lands in. He was doing that all series long. If you see the first two games, he has not done that. He has not penetrated like he was penetrating before. They are on top of him early. They put a body on them early. They're not letting him get around, and really what that does is, with those open passes where the Hawks were open against the Knicks, that's not happening against Philly. These guys are not open. As you can see, they're missing shots, which is really hurting them badly.
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, I was very critical of Doc coming into this game, because they were out schemed in that game, because you can't be up by so much and then push the game to only lose by 4. So that means your fourth quarter was great, but where was that for the rest of the game? Why didn't you make some of these changes earlier? As you saw, Trey was cooking you early, and he likes to run with this bench unit at the start of the second quarter, which I was watching them. They went on a 17-0 run, the Hawks went, and they had only bench guys on for the Sixers. As we saw tonight, the bench only scored 0 points in the first half. You can't run a whole lineup out there like that, Doc. Not against this Hawks team. Maybe in the regular season as you're saving guys and you have to make it to the playoffs and you have some injury-prone players. But in this series, to win this series, you can't be running all bench lineups. Either Harris or Embiid have to be on the floor. Or if you want to put Simmons out there and let Simmons finally get some run and let him score a little bit, do that. But honestly, I know people are going to say, well, Ben Simmons only shot 2 of 3. That's all I need him to do.
That's all they need. He's not an offense. They're not looking for him offensively.
And he can score. I'm not saying he can't score. He could take it to the rack and he can score efficiently. He got his assist in there. But at the end of the day, I want you to save your energy for Trae Young. Shut him down, and you shut this team down. And I think that's what they did. They made the changes. They made the other guys beat you. You saw Herter went off. He went 3 of 5 from downtown, 8 of 10 from the field. He's not going to do that again. And then these other guys, they're big guys, all shot bad. Collins shot bad. Capella.
Again, I don't think, I know you said Philly was going to win this series, and you said the Hawks, you didn't think the Hawks had a chance. I did think the Hawks had a chance, just from seeing what the Knicks are. And I know it's 2 different teams. Philly's way better than the Knicks.
Yep.
So I get that. But I do think the Hawks did what they had to do. They won in Philly. So, hey, you know what? Now it's up to Philly, and they are a different team when they play in Atlanta.
Yep.
The crowd's behind them.
Yep.
Again, I don't see what Trae Young did now is going to happen again. I don't think he's going to shoot that bad, right? But again, Simmons is going to be a big difference maker.
I think they have to keep Simmons on him. They cannot run Danny Green on him, because Danny Green was getting eaten alive. And it was the same thing that happened with the Knicks. The Knicks had a lot of these slow-footed defenders that were trying to stay in front of Trae. And it's like, yeah, you're bigger than Trey, but Trey is so shifty and quick, and he has the good dribble, and he's able to manipulate where he wants to get on the floor. Then it's hard for some of those guys to do it. But if you have a guy like Simmons, who maybe he's not as fast as some of these other guys, but he's long and he's big, and he can make up for that speed with his size. And I think that's why it stops some of those floaters and those lobs, because when you get in there, Simmons ain't letting you get some easy stuff. And then Embiid is coming over and defending on those guys. So honestly, the defensive game plan, the defensive switches that they made was fantastic. I love that Doc did it at the beginning of game 2 and said, no, we're not going down tonight. We're not going down without a fight. We are not the Bucks. We are not the Bucks. You know what I mean?
I do think it's encouraging for the Hawks to show, because I know it says 16 points, but they were in it for most of the game. At some point in the fourth quarter, beginning, I just believe they ran out of gas. When you're just always constantly trying to catch up, you can never get over that hump, and that's exactly what I feel like the Hawks never really did. I mean, at some point, I think they were led by 2 points, but that was it. But it's encouraging. At least you could take away that, say, we didn't play our best game. We shot horribly, and we were in this game. Even with all that being said, we were still in this game. And I think going back home, they say, hey, I think the Hawks are still feeling good. Hey, we took a game from Philly. We didn't win the second game, but hey, it's hard to win 2 games away. So again, I think they're saying, hey, we are happy. Same thing with the Knicks. Hey, you know what? We'll see you in ATL.
Yep. And I guess my next question for you as we wrap this up is, do you still believe that the Sixers win this series after what you saw tonight and after what you saw in game 1, knowing they're going back? It's a 1-1 series. Embiid is looking better than we could have thought. So he is going to be a factor in this series.
I thought the Sixers were going to win this series. I did think the Hawks had a shot of winning.
If they had no Embiid, you definitely thought they were going to win.
Oh, no. If they had no Embiid, I think the Hawks win. But no, I still think the Sixers win. I do think this game series goes 6 or 7. Okay. Yeah, I think it definitely goes 6. Mm-hmm. It could even go 7 games. Mm-hmm. I think the Hawks are that capable of winning, beating the 76ers basically. Mm-hmm. And but I do think 76ers win, but I do think it goes 6-7 games.
Yep. And I just really feel like in this kind of scenario, the Sixers need to do everything they can to get this whole unit well-oiled, get Ben Simmons. Fuck that offense, Ben Simmons. Get focused on your defense, because you have the Nets coming up if you win. And Kevin Durant, you know who he is.
That's over.
And guess what, Ben Simmons? That's your job. That's your job. No. You're gonna have him.
No one's gonna stop the Nets. The problem is that if the series goes 6 or 7, you're wearing out Embiid. But by the time he gets to the Nets, he's
right. But that's the one thing the Sixers can say that a lot of other teams don't. They have Embiid. And who's stopping Embiid on the Nets? That's the one thing that these other teams don't have. They don't have a guy that can get into the paint and literally said, I'm getting you 40.
But how fresh of an Embiid are they getting? That's my point.
Yeah,
that's my thing. If this goes 6 or 7, that's a pressured series. It's a long series. And you put 1 or 2 more games of Embiid that hopefully you were hoping not to do.
Yeah. I'll tell you this. If Embiid is at his full, if he's looking like this, maybe you need Harden.
No,
I don't know.
There's no way. Even without Harden, the Nets win. They beat the Philly.
I feel like Kevin Durant now, when he's going into the locker room, he has that Drake song going on in the background. Fucking, I'm on one. You know what I mean? He's just rocking around, got the headphones on, I run this. I am back. LeBron is out. This is what I do. Right. You know what I mean? I have my super team again. When I have a super team, I don't lose. It's just one of those things. I love it. And honestly, I hope the Sixers pull it out, because I think they're the best matchup versus the Nets. And I want the Nets to have everything thrown at them. So when we look back at this, it's damn, that Nets team is one of the best teams in NBA history, because, you know who he is. It's Kevin Durant. My guy. So on that note, Hawks lose game 2, Sixers win game 2. Yep. This series tied at 1-1. We're going back to ATL. Is going down. Let's see what future got for us, but it's going down, baby. Game 3 is coming up. We're going to have the coverage on that. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, because I am always talking about these games. I'm trying to get involved with some of these top basketball minds. and hey, I mean, this opportunity where I showed you, like, I told Monica what it's gonna be, and I got my dates on this, so it's not even like we could talk any kind of talk, like, you know what I mean? He's literally like, I'm saying this. I don't understand why don't you have Simmons. You need to run the offense through Harris. You can't tell me that I wasn't on this early. I know my basketball people, and that's why we win leagues, because we know what we're talking about. And on that note, that's Ricky. I'm the talented Mr. Taco. We are the Daily Sporting. We help provide you with the information and the content you need to win your leagues, win your bets, and make it to that next level. So we are out. Peace.